You woke up this morning and before your feet touched the floor, you picked up your phone. In those first 4 minutes of scrolling, you just handed the sharpest version of your brain to a stranger's algorithm, and you will feel the cost for the next 16 hours. Your first hour is not neutral time. It is the window where your brain decides who is driving today, you, or everything demanding your attention. In the next few minutes, we will look at the cortisol spike you are sleeping through, why dopamine is a currency and not a reward, how a single beam of morning light anchors your entire day, and why reactive mode is a decision you never actually made. The cortisol window. In the first 30 to 45 minutes after you wake up, your body releases a sharp surge of cortisol. This is not the stress cortisol people fear. It is your ignition system, the biological signal that tells your brain the day has started and it is time to move, think, and decide. Researchers call this the cortisol awakening response, or CAR. In a widely cited 2009 review in the journal Psychoneuroendocrinology, Clow and colleagues showed that this response peaks roughly 30 minutes after waking and is tied directly to alertness, memory formation, and how well you handle stress later in the day. When you reach for your phone in that window, you flood a brain that is already primed with arousal with more arousal. Dozens of tiny decisions, comparisons, and micro-stressors before you have even used the bathroom. The system that was supposed to give you clean energy for the day is now spending it on other people's problems. Think about the last time you opened your inbox before you opened a window. Within seconds, you were negotiating a deadline, absorbing someone else's frustration, or comparing your quiet Tuesday to someone else's highlight reel. By the time you stood up, you were not tired. You were already spent. That is not a productivity problem. That is a biology problem you walked into with your eyes half open. The first 30 minutes, not a warm-up. They are the loudest signal your brain will send you all day, and most people spend that signal on strangers. But cortisol is only half the story, because there is a second chemical being calibrated in that same window, and it decides what will feel worth doing later. Dopamine is a currency. Dopamine is not the reward you get when something feels good. It is the currency your brain uses to decide what is worth pursuing in the first place. And the level you set in the first hour of the day becomes the baseline that everything else has to compete with. The neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz, in his foundational 1997 paper in the journal Science, showed that dopamine neurons do not fire for the reward itself. They fire for the prediction of it. Your brain is constantly calibrating what deserves attention based on the last thing that gave it a jolt. When the first jolt of your day comes from an endless feed of novel, unpredictable content, you have just told your brain that reading a book, having a slow conversation, or sitting with a hard problem is not worth the effort. You did not choose that hierarchy. You inherited it from a swipe. Picture two versions of yourself at 9 in the morning. One spent 20 minutes scrolling in bed. Now sitting down to write a report feels like dragging a piano up a staircase. The other version made coffee, looked out a window, and read 3 pages of something slow. Now the same report feels like the most interesting thing available. Same person, same task, different currency. Every morning you are setting an exchange rate. Whatever burns hot in the first hour becomes the standard by which everything else feels boring. But your brain is not only calibrating chemistry in that window, it is also waiting for one very specific external signal. And if you do not give it, your whole day runs on the wrong clock. Light is the anchor. Your brain does not actually know what time it is. It is guessing all day long based on external signals. And the single strongest signal it uses to set the clock is the light hitting your eyes in the first hour after you wake up. Circadian rhythm researchers have known this for decades. Charles Chesler at Harvard, in work published in the New England Journal of Medicine in 1990, demonstrated that bright light exposure is the primary way humans synchronize their internal clock to the outside world. Morning sunlight, even on a cloudy day, hits the retina and sends a signal down a dedicated pathway to the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the pacemaker of your circadian system. That single input calibrates the timing of alertness, hunger, focus, and sleep for the next 24 hours. Miss that signal, and your body still runs a schedule, just not the one you live on. Think about the last time you spent an entire morning indoors, phone in hand, curtains half drawn. By 2 in the afternoon, you felt vaguely off. Not tired exactly, not sad exactly, just misaligned. That was not laziness. That was your body running on a schedule it never got permission to reset. 10 minutes outside, without a screen, would have rewritten the whole afternoon. You do not need a routine app. You need a window. But even the perfect chemistry and the perfect light will not save you from the deepest morning problem of all. Because most of us do not actually wake up. We wake up and immediately outsource who is in charge. The reactive mind. There is a psychological posture you slip into the moment you let the outside world speak first. Psychologists call it reactive mode. It is the state of responding to whatever appears in front of you instead of choosing what to move toward. And nothing installs it faster than a phone within arm's reach at sunrise. The psychologist Roy Baumeister spent much of his career studying self-control and decision-making. In his 2011 book Willpower, co-written with journalist John Tierney, he laid out a now well-known finding. The mental resources for deliberate choice are highest early in the day and deplete with use. Every micro-decision costs a little. When your first 100 decisions of the day are which notification to open, which comment to react to, which stranger to be annoyed by, you have already spent a meaningful share of your daily agency before your real life has begun. You are not lazy at 3 in the afternoon. You are bankrupt. Notice what happens on a morning when nobody needs you. You wake up slowly, you choose your first action. You decide what the day is about before anyone else gets to tell you. By evening, you feel unusually clear. Not because the day was easier, but because you were the one steering it. That feeling is not luxury. That is agency. And it is available almost every morning if you can survive the first 10 minutes without asking a screen what to think about. The person who checks their phone first is not weak. They are just outsourcing the first decision of the day every day without noticing. And here is the part almost nobody sees. That single small habit does not just cost you a morning. It compounds. The compounding morning. A single good morning is a nice feeling. 100 good mornings in a row is a different person. This is not motivational language. It is what the research on habit formation actually shows. Identity is downstream of repeated small choices, and the morning is where those choices are cheapest and most visible to your brain. Health psychologist Philippa Lally at University College London ran one of the cleanest habit studies we have. Her 2010 paper in the European Journal of Social Psychology followed people forming new daily behaviors and found that, on average, it took 66 days for a chosen action to become automatic. 66 mornings, not a year, not a decade, just over 2 months of choosing the same small opening move. Light, movement, silence, a page of writing. And your brain stops asking whether you want to do it. It just does it. Imagine 2 versions of your next year. In one, you spend the first hour of every day reacting, notifications, headlines, other people's moods. In the other, you spend the first hour of every day choosing light, quiet, a small, deliberate action. Same job, same family, same weather. But by month 12, one of those versions of you is exhausted and vaguely resentful, and the other one is unrecognizable. Not because anything dramatic happened, but because 1,000 small mornings pointed in the same direction. You are not choosing a morning routine. You are choosing which version of yourself gets to run the year. And once you see it that clearly, the only question left is what you actually do tomorrow. So, here is what to actually do tomorrow morning, in language your future self will thank you for. When you wake up, leave the phone face down for the first 30 minutes. Get your eyes on natural light within the first 10. A window counts, a doorway is better, a walk is best. Do one small, deliberate thing before you consume anything. Stretch, write a sentence, drink water, sit in silence. That is it. You are not building a productivity system. You are protecting the window in which your brain decides who you are today before the world gets a vote. Do that for a week and you will feel the difference. Do it for 2 months and it stops being a routine. It becomes the way you are. Your first hour is not small. It is the lever